Vanessa,
Yes.
you want to go ahead and fix your face, whatever?
As good as it's going to get right now.
Okay. So it is October 16th, Sunday, the final day of the Competition Dynamics Team Safari. And I've kind of been posting on the social media about your guys' experiences, your challenges, putting the podcast up there for people to be able to go and find it. And, yesterday we had talked about what the weather forecast was, and you had run out and got, some clothing because you didn't bring anything. You came unprepared. And let me tell you, the photo did not disappoint.
Unprepared. I was being optimistic.
The photo of you wearing that rain jacket did not disappoint. I think it broke the internet.
That's a medium too, by the way.
That's attractive.
I think it was like a medium XXX hybrid.
That's a Tucum carry medium.
She's got my pants on, which aren't a medium either.
I have thick, heavy pants underneath, and then his rain pants over. I have like 3 belts on. So yeah, there was a lot extra girth in those photos.
I felt like all around the jacket and the pants kind of matched with each other. So you didn't look like just one thing was too big. It was all around everything.
Oh man, and Ghostbusters.
Yes. Full of mud.
Okay, so it did rain today, and you guys, all the years I've ever done this competition, I have never had the opportunity to be first, which means that you get RO'd by an actual staff member of Competition Dynamics or a volunteer, but either way, you're getting RO'd by a non-shooter. You start at the butt crack of dawn. It's super early. I mean, typically you're walking to the stage before the sun's even up yet, right? I mean, maybe the sunrise happening along the walk, but for the most part, I mean, it's got its own challenges. And I think you guys need to tell us about those challenges. Obviously, shadows, darkness, targets that don't get painted. Obviously, things are a lot harder to find. But you also experienced weather that other students didn't experience because it didn't rain the entire time, as I was told, which doesn't matter. It doesn't necessarily mean that other people didn't struggle, right? There's still cold, wet, windy, things that people have to deal with, sliding in mud, shit like that. I'm sure Vanessa will tell us all about how, because of the rain, because of things that were externally affecting her, it broke some of her mental cognitive ability to think about things that she's supposed to do, right, Vanessa?
You mean my parallax?
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking about? Well, with all the rain and heat coming off of our bodies and the lenses getting fogged up, our first stage was, we basically had wind or rain blowing right at our faces. So I lay down and all this wind and rain is like right in my eyes. I'm like, I can't see. I'm having a hard time getting walked onto targets. Stage 2, kind of the same thing.
So hold on. What people don't understand is that without the rain, without the wind blowing in your face, without the early morning darkness, without all of these things, you already can't see.
I struggle with my vision, particularly out of my right eye. So it's not uncommon for me to struggle to see difficult targets. On top of, wasn't bright out, there were shadows, there's rain, there's, all of that is going on. So there's a lot to think about. And I'm just like, I don't see it. I think I should be around where he's directing me and I don't see it. Then I realized that when things we got a break in the rain and things kind of eased up on us, and I got behind my rifle and I was like, it should be clearer at this point because everything's not hitting us in the face. And I realized I still am having a hard time. And I look over, my parallax is turned all the way down to 0. And that was from the assault stage yesterday.
Or whatever that lowest number is, right? I think on Mark 5, it's like 25 yards or something.
I don't know, but it's all the way down to nothing. I'm like, my parallax. As soon as I fixed that, I was like, oh, I can see.
But my parallax,
Yeah, you know what, and that's supposed to be one of the things you check when you're, what's my range, what's my distance, and where's my parallax. But I just was assuming, I was taking into account that it was just all that water coming right at me.
yeah. So when you told me this story, I didn't want to hammer you too hard because you guys are still dealing with all of this external stuff, but it does really kind of hammer home why some of the habits that I talk about are so important. Because if that was a strong habit that you had developed, that would have been a natural thing for you to just do, right? And that's the importance of always doing your process the same way, so that when these external elements start to try to influence you, you're still going through your process, right? So a little lapse there, but I think that you needed it to teach you a lesson that can't be taught when somebody's just standing next to you on the range saying, check your parallax, check your dough, do this, do that, right? Sometimes we need those good failures. So did you forget to check your parallax any time after that?
I did not.
Okay, so let's go back to, how does it feel to start the match, to be the first team out at, what time do you guys start? 7 a.m.
7.
So describe the atmosphere, describe the, what's happening on planet Earth at 7 o'clock in the morning in Logan, New Mexico, while you guys are walking down a dirt road and it's raining.
So we're walking down a dirt road. We get there and there's about 6 cars in the parking lot, right?
It's dark.
It's dark. And it's like, all right, let's strap our shit to our packs, get the rain gear out. We didn't want to sit in the car for 40 minutes, roasting. So do all that stuff, walk over, start going down the road, and it's gray, right? Because it's rain. So it starts raining. Shit, actually, it was raining.
It was raining when we got to
It was raining when we got there. So we're just walking in the rain, and it's gray. And we're walking, to the north, so people know it's 3/4 a mile, mostly a mile by the time you get to the first thing. So we're doing a lot of walking. But the whole time we were out there, I was like, well, we need to walk slower, because all I see is grays and browns.
No sunrise coming.
Yeah, I'm like, we need the sun to come up. Like if it was a clear day like it was Saturday, it would have been fine. I mean, not that it was bad. It was just, we're walking out here the whole time. I'm trying to, picture a target somewhere out there. And I'm like, fuck, everything's the same color. It's just dingy gray, with the rain, and more so because the light wasn't. And that was my main thing, is like, oh, let the sun come up so we can see, or at least turn the lights on, I think is what I said, so we can at least see. It's hard enough in the rain and the winds, and then, but when it's just gray out, it was, to me, that was harder than at first than the rain. But that's something you're thinking about, like, come on. It's like you said, there's never going to be an equal, you can't have 60 teams start on the north, the same range at 7 o'clock on the same, you just can't. But what I'm trying to say is, like, normally you have an early morning one, like you mentioned yesterday. The wind isn't quite down yet, or isn't up yet, or anything like that. But we pulled in this morning. Yeah, it was early, and the wind was up, and the rain was up, and the sun was down. Yeah, the American flag. We're like, oh fuck, it's gonna be exactly what the weatherman was right today. But yeah, I was more concerned with, it's gonna be hard to find targets, being familiar in the north, because you're shooting out in the field with all the bushes, whatever kind of bushes those are. They're just everywhere. There's not a lot of things out far. On top of that, you couldn't see out far because of other conditions. So that was my main deal, was like, oh, it's not going to be easy. Nothing's going to pop out. There's not going to be any sun hitting the target. There was none of that.
So I was looking at your scorecard, and the first stage you guys actually shot 6 out of 9. So regardless of where those misses came from, it's still better than 50%. And then the second stage happened, where out of 9 total points, you got a 2. So what happened on stage 2? And what was that conversation like, leaving stage 2, going to stage 3?
I thought you were going to say during the stage, because I'm pretty sure Russ was yelling at me like, shoot, hurry up and shoot. Fucking shoot.
So I mean, after 2 to 3, it was kind of like, all right, let's get our shit together. What's going on? And then the rain stopped right after 2. So like, hey, let's wipe off all the scopes. Let's wipe off all that. Let's get back to whatever. Like, hey, let's get back to, hey, you shooting quicker. What also happened is I have that kitchen timer that kind of tells you how much time you have, and it didn't go off. You know, there's grid in it and all that. I pushed the start button, it never started. So we're on number 2, and it was a 2x3. Yeah, it was a 2x3. And that was obviously worse than the first one. I don't think either of us were really happy with the 6 because like couldn't see and timed out. Basically got lucky to get a 6.
I gave him what, 50 seconds to shoot. I mean,
so we go to the second one. It was like, and I actually put her scope on one of the targets, and I'm looking through. I'm like, yeah, it kind of looks like shit, but you can still see it. You know, just kind of like there's water on the lens. But my eyes a little bit better than yours, probably, or whatnot. And it was the farther target, but it was the biggest one out there. And it was off of seated tripod, something like that. Tripod, probably a 12-inch square at about 500. And she's shooting and shooting and shooting. I'm like, more left, more right, this and that. I'm starting to get my gun ready. Like, I got to go. I'm like, my timer's not going off in my head. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, I feel like we've got a fucking minute left. So like, Ray, how much time do we have? 50 seconds. I was like, get off. So I missed that same target and then hit the next 2 and then timed out before I can get to the next position. So had to take her gun off, put mine on, acquire the 500, miss the 500, then go to, I don't know if it was like 350, 450 or something for that too. So got those 2 impacts and that was it. And I was kind of pissed, not at her or whatever, just like, fuck, okay, there's 50 seconds left. You're not going to get, and you're all your speed, you're not going to get 2 positions, 6 targets done in that time kind of deal when you have to, you know, get a rifle off the tripod, get another one on, all that kind of stuff. So I was like, well, that was just bad because I should have asked how much more time there was. I thought I was doing the right thing by shooting the big target first because it was literally twice as big, if not bigger than the other ones. But after that, we were like walking. I feel like, hey, let's just get our shit back. Let that one go. Let's not do that again. I think I said, hey, let's get you shooting quicker, and I'll ask for time quicker from Ray if my timer's not working. Because that's what worked yesterday is find 1 or 2 and go. And then, you know, I probably at that point, because we were struggling to see that target, when there was 2.5 minutes left or 2 minutes, would have been the time to really, if you hadn't shot it by then, I feel like 2 minutes or less. If I had 2 minutes, I feel I could have gotten all the targets, at least shot at all of them. And we went to the third one. I don't remember the score. I don't have the picture of it, but it got, maybe it was a 7 or 8 or something. It got better from there for the most part.
The second stage was your guys' worst stage for the entire day.
Yeah, for the week.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
For the week, I think our lowest, I think we had a 4 or something. Shit on Wednesday, or not Wednesday, on Friday. Saturday, I think the lowest was a 5. And I only think one of them. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, so the second stage was the worst score you guys had, especially today. And you had one other stage where you shot a 5, and I think that was the last stage of the day. But then every other stage was a 6, a 7, an 8, or a 9. Like, you guys did really well. And, you know, sometimes that just happens. I remember not during the team safari, but during Steel Safari, the individual event. Very first stage, I believe, on the West. And, you know, I shot a 2. And I'm like, oh, this is, all right, universe, this is how today is going to go. And then I, you know, try to pull myself up and just forget about what happened, but learn from it. Like, what happened? What was my wind doing? Why did I only shoot a 2? And I went through the rest of the match without missing a single shot. So looking at your scorecard, it looks like you guys had something similar happen. Whatever it was, stage 2, 8-year launch, and you guys basically from then on had picked something up and just carried it the entire way. Like, this is how we're supposed to do it. Part of that could be that Vinessa could actually see the target now.
I mean,
yeah.
but yeah, it's, otherwise I'm wasting time, you know, like that accrues my little error, you know, it just tops on, you know, it's just one problem after another. And, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that was it. We started being more conscientious about, okay, hey, let's wipe this off before we go up. Literally, we had a bottle cap basically over the front, so if you had to go,
got pictures of like,
so if you had to go gun up on your walk up or whatever, then it was like when you got the gun, you know, rip the bottle off the front. I had the scope cap on the rear of mine, and then we were just a little more aggressive on making sure we could see through our binos and all that kind of shit. But she started shooting quicker. I mean, it picked up. I mean, we got, yeah, I mean, after that, it was fairly good. We might have timed out with like a shot or two left once
Russ,
or twice.
let me tell you, Russ, with that countdown to 10, now he's got this voice in his ear because his timer goes off and it counts down from 10. He took about 3 shots on one.
Yeah, one at 0.
I think hit all 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like 7, the one you said we got a 5 on, which, hey, we did. But what it was on 7 where you're shooting the can, one of the targets was down. So you had at 650, there was like a 12-inch diamond up in like the volcano, I call it, the Rocky Mine area. Yeah. And then there was, I don't know if it's a 5-inch piano key. It might have been a 4-inch piano key, like at 500 yards. So we got the 5 there, but it doesn't, because you had to go, we started at the far one. I started her at the far because it was a big ass target, which is good because you hit it. And then we went to the close. And the wind was fucking blowing,
dancing all over it, and I wasn't steady. I had a rock in my arm, which wasn't an excuse. I was in an awkward position. I was kind of just not. I wasn't steady enough, and I should have taken my time and gotten more comfortable. But. Yeah,
so that was I think you shot the far, and then you couldn't hit the near, and then that was it, right? Did you go back to the far? That was it.
I may have even changed mags, and that's the first time I did. I was like, and then it wasn't feeding around, and I was like,
yeah, I was skipping, the bolt skipped over. So I was like, oh, I'm going to shoot. So I went same thing. I went to the far, used her wind call, cut it in half, and hit the far on the first one, hit the piano key on the first one, went back, I think, to the far, hit it, moved, hit the far again, right at the new position, then missed the close.
Yes, and then it started counting down.
Yeah, and then I went back to the far. Yeah, literally, It was 4 times. I remember 4 times. It was like one was on that 6 that we got on the first one, because I'm like, we're running out of time. And I knew the other target was farther, and I needed more wind, so I held in the general up in the top right off the. And it fucking hit like after, and Jimmy's like, "Oh, you hit it!" I'm like, "Oh, holy shit, I didn't see it." But he's like, so I thought that was cool. But so even the ones like we were with the rain and everything else, it took us more time today because we had 4 crazy shots like that, timed out on a couple. But you know, I was looking at the previous year's score for the North, and which wasn't bad for us. We had a lot more. We shot a 52 last year, and I think we got was it 51 this year or something like that. Or 50, 51. So we were only 1 or 2 off through all that shit over our score on the North last year. So, I mean, all that together, it was like, hey, I'm just like, we gave up a lot. I feel like that probably hurt us on the standings because I don't think it was a stage that we did bad on. The first 2 guys were probably getting 8s on the first one, maybe some 9s. Yeah. And then probably 6, 7, or 8s on the one we got on the 2. So those are the things you're like, oh shit, we are down 8, 9 points to in, but we rebounded well. Like I said, she cleared her stuff up and started hitting a bunch of shots. You know, without me, I was still looking for targets, a bunch of them, and she was banging away and hitting them. So it worked out. Got back to our group.
Vinessa, do you recall? So the last stage on the North. They'll move the targets, and you know, every year the targets are going to be in a different spot, but you kind of have an idea of how that range fan is set up for that final stage. You got the volcano area you're talking about with all the dug up weird dirt and shit, and then you got the flat area off to the left. One year they put targets up on that flat plateau, so you have an idea of like what the range fan looks like. And it just depends on what target you're shooting at. It could be like a quarter or half value wind. It could be a 3/4, it just depends really on what the direction of the target is. If you got a left or right wind coming through there. Do you remember what your wind call was, Vanessa?
It was 4 mils at the far target.
And I love hearing 4 mils wind call. It just sounds.
At 650, 60 or whatever it was.
Just sounds epic.
Yeah. So I cut that in half and then took 0.2 off because I figure her bullet's slowing down kind of out there.
Yeah.
She starts turning into a full 3-mile-an-hour gun while I'm still like a 6.5, and I held 1.8 and hit it.
Okay. So you guys placed in the top 20, which is super awesome. Every year that you guys competed, you have huge improvements, even from the first year last year. And last year, you guys didn't feel like it was a huge improvement because you didn't place where you thought you were going to, right? But this year.
Yeah, I don't think we thought where we were going to. I just wanted to do better. Wanted to do more better. I didn't think we were going to be higher, but I just wanted to be higher. It's one of those deals.
I could see it. I could see from your scores, from how things were going, and you guys broke it. You guys broke into the top 20. You're 17th place, which I hope next year, if you guys are partnered up again, it's only going to make the challenge harder because every year you got to get better. So what do you think as a team? I just calculated you guys' scores on my phone here. There was 216 total points available for the field courses. You guys had a 55, a 58, and a 51. So do all the math. What do you think your hit percentage was as a team over 3 days?
On the targets?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's what hit percentage means, but I don't know. It's hard to tell when you're on the gas gun. You're not really counting that stuff.
Hit or don't get the point. So at the end of the day, what was your of total points available hit percentage? What do you think?
Like 70.
I don't know. What did we get? What did you get? 164 points at a 216 or something like that?
Yeah, pretty close to that. 167, I believe. So you finished with a 76%. Pretty damn good. All right. I don't remember what your hit percentage was from last year, but 76%.
Yeah, 24 impacts or something last year. So we had 36, 37, somewhere around there, more impacts this year.
Yeah.
I'm just talking the field courses. I don't care about the salt stages, but that's not what we're, the points are in the field stuff. I feel that's a better judge of how we're shooting as a team or our capabilities than dragging a dummy, which is all fun and all that, but it's just
fun.
I care more about hitting the targets on that stuff than some of the assault stuff.
I'm with you. And I've seen some of the videos of you guys dragging the dummy. It doesn't look like you're having a lot of fun when that's happening.
There's videos of us?
Okay, so let's talk about the gear. Vanessa, the gas gun, right?
Do I need to wipe that down?
Yes, you need to wipe it down. You need to return it back better than the way that you got it. That's the rule.
That's not hard.
Yeah.
But in terms of the gas gun, right? It's a semi-automatic and it's automatic, right? It does everything for you, except for you have to take it off safe and press the trigger. So therefore, there's a lot more things that are capable of failing, causing malfunctions, double feeds, stuck cartridges because of rain, water, anything. There's a ton of things that could go wrong. So how did that rifle do for you today? Because we know that yesterday and the day before, you guys had 0 issues. How did it go?
I think everything was smooth up until the last stage. I'm trying to think if it jammed on me any other time. I think the last stage when it wasn't feeding, I don't know if there was grit. I don't know if it was the magazine. I don't know. I actually have around here that when I was organizing my stuff, and there's a light strike on it. So I don't know if that's a gas issue, if there's a ammo, I don't know. I think it was just floating around in my stuff. So I don't know if I picked it up and that's one of the ones that didn't fire, and I don't know.
But everybody's reference. So for everybody's reference on the gas gun, the firing pin on the inside, right? It moves. So when your bolt slams forward, that firing pin will touch the back of the primer and it will leave a little dent. And some people will get that confused with a light strike versus just chambering.
Okay, so then that's all it was.
So outside of that last stage, it could have been magazine problem, but overall, your gas gun did everything that you needed it to do. Are you happy with it?
I'm very happy with it.
Is that going to be the same thing that you choose next year?
Probably, unless I build something by then, but I've been saying that for the last 2 years. So.
Same caliber?
Same caliber, like if I build something else?
Like if you buy, build, if you get loaned, it doesn't matter. Do you think 223 is the best option for you to run again?
I like it. I mean, I know that most of the guys, or a lot of guys, you know, are shooting bigger gas guns, but it's working. I mean, I don't know if am I going to shoot better. I mean, if I shot the exact same round that Russ was shooting and we had the exact same wind call, that would be the only advantage, I guess, if I was to switch. But the way it's running right now, we're making it work with calculating our wind quickly, and it's working. So
okay,
probably so, I wouldn't have any reason not to.
This is a serious question because Vinessa, you're a diver, and I've been diving a lot lately. Russ, I don't know, have you dove before?
Nope.
So
I used to take snorkeling lessons, a bunch of stuff, but I can't clear my ears no matter how hard I try.
Oh, okay. So one of the things that we'll do before we dive down is we'll spit into our mask and rub that spit all over the place, because it's cheaper than buying their little fancy diving shit.
Just soap. Okay.
Baby soap, whatever, right? But spit, bam, and then you rub it all around, splash around, and boom, anti-fog. I'm just curious, Vinessa, did you try and spit on it?
I did not. Number one, on what, the binos or on my rifle?
Anything that has glass that was fogging up. I'm just curious.
Because
the fog was more on my binos.
Yeah, even I would get behind his at one point, and I was like, "Ooh, they are fogging up." And I thought about it too. I was like, maybe if he spits.
I have that shade thing on it, right? That your face kind of goes in, so heat just kind of goes up in there, obliterates it. I pushed that forward, and it wasn't that big of a deal after that.
The same problem on mine.
Well, I'm fat and I breathe heavy.
No, but when I went to yours, it happened to me too.
You were wearing a snorkel. Oh, on mine, yeah.
Snorkel.
Could have been the difference. I was using the SIGs, she was using my Leicas, and there is a significant difference to glass.
Because I was like, "Ooh, these are fogging up." I tried to back up and like give it some space, but yeah, I don't know if spit would have worked.
Yeah, so you took 2 tripods, 2 binos. You got the gas gun, you got the bolt gun. Russ, you took double pull bipods and you shot a 6 Creedmoor. Is there anything that you brought that you didn't use or you didn't feel like it was necessary? Like, I brought these fucking bipods and I did not use them.
I used everything I brought.
Okay.
One way, like I brought the, the gamer plate, but like, it's in the room. I just didn't want to fuck with it, to take it off, to put it on my tripod when I need to use it. And I think we only shot off of rocks maybe 4 times. And so it was no point in carrying it around. I carried the rifle wrap thing to cover your action scope, just in case it's dusty. It wasn't dusty, but it worked for the rain today. And I carried a backpack rain guard, and that's what we put around her rifle today. So they're both kind of wrapped as we're going in between, especially slung up. You'd have puddles of shit in your scope otherwise. So we wrapped those. Like I said, we stole some washcloths. We use those. Yeah, there was nothing. That beef jerky I didn't eat. that was about it. We use that in a Kestrel. Never use a Kestrel. The environmentals from my binos were spot on for fucking everything. So
Yeah.
no, used everything.
Typically, even when we just use a hard data card,
Yeah.
our data on, you don't see a huge shift in the DA that is going to affect you, especially with the size of some of the targets and things like that. So for next year, let's jump into the future here, and it is, let's say it's August, and that's typically about the time that you both sit there and say, we should maybe practice and prepare for this match. Are you going to do anything different? If it is like September, you've done your practice session, you feel like you guys are getting into the groove of communicating and talking with each other, gear related, would you change anything now that you have been through this and you have a fresh opportunity in your mind to say, you know what, I think I would do this different?
On my end, no. I've used the same shit. I don't feel like any gears causing any misses or screwing up the time or anything like that. Yeah. Not really.
Okay, because
the minor thing I might have is my ocular scope cap. It's the one thing I didn't, not my objective scope cap.
Okay.
I never, I mean, you know, PRS or whatever, they're just getting away. But I had the ocular on here, but it wouldn't have been bad to have the objective one. But that's minor as far as gear. There's no issues, no rounds didn't go off, none of that shit, no trigger. It's gear was all good.
So Vinessa, you use the arm board for your data.
Yeah.
You gonna stick with it, or you think you're trying to move to a different system, a different use a clipboard? I really like using a clipboard. I like writing my shit on a card and then actually sticking it on my rifle, so I never have to come off the gun. I never have to break my position. But now you've got like Colin out there running, and Russ, you might be doing this, I don't know.
No, I don't do that shit.
But the binos with the watch?
No fucking way. So I get Colin and he likes it and he's a phenomenal shooter. And I don't know if he's actually doing it for this, but he's shown it before. I don't know if Andy's gonna, if they would be doing that together. I'm ranging, I get the dope instantly on the SIGs and it tells you at the distance, it says 600 yards, 4.1. Yeah. So I write 4.1 either on, it depends on the stage, either on the clipboard, so she can also see it and her dope's there, or, you know, just for kind of the pattern of the target, or I put
Although I've never looked at it once.
Oh, fuck, well, note to self, won't do that anymore. But
don't do it for my benefit.
It's kind of what I was doing. It's funny. But I've been just writing it on my arm board. But on top of the numbers that I'm writing, right below the outer one is her dope. If mine goes to shit, I just flip mine up and my hard dope is inside that as well. So I've got hers, you know, because she's, hey, what's the distance? I'm like 300. If I see the dope real quick, I'll say it's 2.1 or whatever, just one less thing. So she can be dialing while I'm looking at my arm instead of her looking at her arm. But yeah, I'm not going, no. Anything that has batteries and all that shit, Bluetooth, no way, not in a field match. I've seen everybody that thinks they're cool can do outside of Colin. Like I said, I don't know if he's still doing it. The Hunter finale, 5 other Hunter matches. Yeah, I'm waiting for my Bluetooth to connect. None of that. Hard dope. I had a 5,000 DA card for myself and a 6. I made the 5 for her. The DA all weekend was 53, 54. Today it was like 45. We just ran the same numbers. Yeah. You know, we're not shooting 1,000 yards or whatnot. So
which I'm glad you made for me, because the dope card I made for that I brought was at 7,000 DA.
Yeah, I never got that warm with us. It never got that warm. You know, so, but no, hard dope all the way. I'm not, it's just no point. Like, there's enough distractions, there's enough wind, there's enough whatever to wait and rely on something. I always got spare batteries and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, nope, I wouldn't change anything.
So you made the wrong dope card, Vinessa? What's wrong with you?
No, I didn't. It wasn't wrong. It was suggested that I use 7,000.
Who suggested such a thing?
Our mighty coach.
I was like, 5, and I only made the one for her because I was looking at the weather And the
He was
difference,
looking at Hawaiian weather.
yeah, the weather wasn't going to move more than like 12 degrees. Coldest it was going to be, not 12, the coldest it was going to be when we started was like 55 and the highest like at 70. So for myself on the bolt gun, I figured I needed to be a little more accurate. So I made the 5 and 6 just in case. Once again, that's backup for my binos. I use the binos the whole time. So it figured it out by itself.
All right. So for the times that I've done this match, I'm trying to think. Last year when I ran it with Nick, I didn't have any crazy issues. No weird stuff that I can recall right off the top of my head. But previous years when I've either partnered with Clint or with Jason from US Optics or Ray, I remember one specific year where there was a position where, like, the rules are, if you're going to shoot off of a tripod, then your body has to be on the dot, and the dot has to be on this boulder. And like, to just get in this position and set the tripod up in front of you, it was all kinds of weird. And then you're pushed into like this weird configuration where the only shot you can take is a left-handed one, because if you try to take a right-handed shot, you're falling off of the boulder you're standing on. Did you guys have any experience like that where you're like, this position's just fucked?
There was a couple, but not that bad. Most of them were workable with the bag. I remember the one similar to what you're talking about. Vanessa pointed it out. It's like, yeah, in between two boulders, you have to throw 2 legs forward, one fucking hanging off the back. And it's like a 2x3 too. When you're done, you got to pick your shit up. And hopefully, because it's on the south, like where you need some elevation generally to shoot across the canyon. Like if you don't have a tall bipod, you got to now drag that tripod that you've got set up 9 different ways of normal to shoot it. But we had a not as difficult one that was kind of similar, where the dots, on the rounded, like where your chest would be if you were shooting prone, is kind of right there. So just kind of awkward. It was more pull the rifle forward and backwards. At least the one that I remember was like that.
But nothing you couldn't fit into or had to like squeeze your body to work a certain everything.
There was definitely a lot of spots though where not so much today, but you couldn't both be in the same. You couldn't be on the shooting position next to it. Like, all right, hey, oh fuck, trees that we had to shoot through one, but there was just awkward ones where we couldn't be right next to each other. Like, okay, I'm gonna step over here while you shoot those and get my shit together. But that was more west probably, and mostly south.
So Vanessa, when obviously you're the first shooter on every stage. After you located like 1 or 2 targets and you're going to grab your rifle and you're going to get into position, were you the one doing the scouting to find a position to shoot from? Because Russ, are you taking her position, or were you guys kind of just doing whatever worked for you as individuals?
I feel like most of the time, if there was a prone position, if it worked, he did the same. I'm trying to think if there were if I needed to just move over, or if he was gonna do something different. I don't know if I think I shot off a tripod, like low kneeling, and he may have gone prone on the south yesterday.
Yeah, I mean,
which I should have done. I should have gone prone, but I wasn't sure if I was gonna have brush in my way. So I think I was already setting up to get down.
Yeah.
So I was just more worried that I was going to get down to prone and not be able to see high or get over the brush.
And I also have the luxury when she's not sure, but knows she can shoot seated, you know what I mean? She's in her mindset like, hey, I know I can shoot seated prone or seated tripod without, fumbling around to see. I get the luxury of seeing if I can actually do it. You did that. You were shooting seated at 3. I pulled my rifle over to the left of her, which I had tried to make sure I was always on the left. And then kind of dropped down and I can do that. And did that. Where if you're by yourself, I've shot in plenty of tripod on the south that can be prone, but you're kind of already set up. And we did that. And I think she had a tripod set up once and she shot it. I'm like, I could probably shoot prone, but the targets were close-ish, inside 450, and it was just like a high kneeling. I missed one yesterday, but I remember doing that. But yeah, I'm generally going to her position or possibly trying to improve it because I could see, all right, you know what, I could shoot prone there, or I'm gonna go forward. I'm more looking when she's there. I'm kind of glancing either on the walk up originally or was she shooting like, hey, what's coming up next? Because there's a lot of 2x3s. Like,
Yeah, because he has to move. I don't.
I'm like, hey, when you're done, and I will say this, when you're done, start getting me a tripod for standing, for kneeling, or for tripod rear while I'm shooting over here. Just like meet me on the way over for some of that stuff on the 2x3s where it's easier to find the targets. Okay. 1x6, like today, I got lost a couple times. Like, point me in the right direction. More right, kind of with my body. Okay, there it was. I think we asked that twice on the same stage or something like that. Yeah.
Vinessa,
but yeah,
do you do any spotting for him?
Yes.
I'm just curious how the partnership worked out with you guys. Whereas, like,
yeah,
me and Nick, we were a team, but I was focused on finding targets and he was focused on shooting the 3 that he was required to shoot. Right. And then when I get down, he's watching, but he's not really giving me corrections unless I specifically say, hey, I need your help. So how did it work out with you guys? Because a lot of the times you'll find yourself where there is a 2x3 and it's more important that your partner is getting stuff set up, grabbing your pack, your tripod, whatever you might need, so that next position will be a lot more smoother than it is for them to spot you, you know?
So I try to watch him to see, is there anything that he needs that I can help with? So if there's going to be a second position, if he's going to need something, I'm getting that ready. If he looks like he's kind of struggling, I don't want to get in his way either. Like, if he's like, he knows what he's doing. So I'm not going to jump in there and try to fix anything. But I try to be aware, like, is there something I can bring over that's going to help, a bag or, you know,
yeah, if there's a fucked up tripod, like kneeling, hey, do you need a pack or something like that? I
try to at least be there so I can. And then if it's like he said he's ready and I'm going to just leave him alone, I try to get on the binos and watch so that I can help, even if he misses to say it was like just off the right.
You would get on the binos and the 1x6s for the most part, like that, because just watching me shoot, hey, which way is it swinging? So I'm off the left, or fuck, where is it? Walk me in on it, that kind of stuff. But the 2x3s are mostly more like supportive on the gear side.
The one time today though, he asked me to get on, and I was looking through his binos and they're kind of fogged up, and he's like, did that swing right or left? And I was like, right. He's like, are you sure? And I'm like, not anymore.
Okay.
I adjusted to the next one. Like, she's like, it swung right. I'm in my mind like, it fucking hit left. But that's my partner. Like, she's on binos. I'm gonna literally, it's one of those ones. I'm like, I've got like 15 seconds to the next 3 targets. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna add 0.2 to the left, and I missed right there, 0.2 off the left.
So I need to practice watching targets swing, because it's so crazy. Like, they swing so fast sometimes, especially the diamonds, right? Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard because when it's hard. Said, right? He was like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Now that you asked, like, I thought I was, but maybe
now that you mention it, okay."
If I was certain, I would have said yes. I'm certain.
Yeah, but it's the same with the wind call yesterday. She's like 4 mils. I was like, she said 4. I was like 0.4. She's like 4 mils. Like, oh fuck. All right. Turn the hat back. Let me put the truss cap on. Send it. And hit it though. But I was like 4 mils. It's just, we don't shoot 223 much or whatever. That number is just fucking large, right? You're like 8-mile-an-hour wind or whatever.
That was a closer one than today. Yeah. It was windier that day.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm like, I don't believe it, but I'm going to listen to what she said. And then I'm like, I'll never fucking trust her again. I gave her a chance and I missed. And I took it off and hit the next target. So it's like, that worked out all right.
So typically in the past, I know they've done it on the West course, and a long time ago, probably like 6 or 7 years ago, they did it on the North, and they've also done it on the South, where they've had targets that are like 70 yards away from you, but they're straight down. So if you're not in the right position, you're not seeing it, right? You'll be out there glassing, looking all over for this target, and right there it is down below you, and you never looked down, or you weren't high enough. Did you come across any of the stages where they tried to pull one over on you? Like, bam, right there it is. Like,
there was 2 on the North today.
Okay.
One was Not super obvious straight down at 70 yards. It was like 200, but it was like a distraction. One way down, super close. Not really a pattern besides 3 on the left side of rock and 3 on the right. But there's one at 2, then you'd come up, I don't know, 70, 80 yards more to the next 2 kind of deal. So that one, it got like the people were spotting for. And even those, you know, they're both thinking they're looking at the same target. You know, you're spotting the guys behind you. Oh, it's the close one. I'm like, I ain't the close one. And you see the guy in the gun with the high angle, but you see the guy in the binos out here. I'm like, that ain't the close one.
Yeah.
And I'm just spotting the guy shooting. And what I miss? Now the guy, I don't know. So, but there was one, a tripod one, I think number 6, that it was 70, 80 yards straight down, then more. And that was when it was muddy as fuck. The guys that are coming down next to me, because you're just descending down the side mud, and then it's like 100 yards straight down to your death. I'm on the edge there and shooting, and I took a step on the way out. I'm like, don't stand here. Here you're gonna die. So, but it was straight down, 70, 80 yards, 2 targets. One target was down, so you had to go back and forth between them.
Okay. All right. So it's been a pretty good recap of how you guys did. The 3 days all captured for us to look back at these years from now and talk about how awesome it was. 17th place. Again, I can't tell you guys enough, like how awesome that is. And you should be super proud. So what is going to be the victory dinner?
What'd you say? Pizza, it sounds like? Pizza Hut?
Pizza's easy.
Dell's is closed today, which we've already eaten at twice. The Lizard Lounge powwow place is closed today. The barbecue place is closed. Everything closes down on Sundays. One of the guys who just asked me for a restaurant, Serge was asking me. I was like, yeah, you should try Dell's. It's like, send me a text. I look it up and it's like closed. I'm like, well, here's the other 2 and the only one's open. So we all have, my clothes are in the washer, probably destroying their washing machine, getting all the sand and shit out. So we're probably, I would say, eat something quick and easy.
Well, I've heard, a little birdie told me that the best Chinese food is found in small towns in New Mexico.
The Golden Dragon or whatever.
We were gonna have Indian food buffet.
Yeah, the Indian buffet at the truck stop. I mean, you get the truck stop buffet, or you get Golden Dragon Chinese in Tucumcari, New Mexico.
Yeah.
Or Pizza Hut, safe in 400 countries around the world.
All right. Well, I'll let you guys clean up.
Of our.
What's that? What did you say?
So we can eat it in our rooms while we're cleaning all our stuff out.
Okay. Oh, so you're actually going to clean stuff?
Try it.
Well, we got to take a flight, so it's not like we can just throw a bunch of dirty stuff in a truck and head home.
That's true. That's true. Well, I'll let you
And
dry
our-
stuff,
our
clean.
dirty pack for carry-ons. So
Yeah, we kind of need our carry-ons to be dry and not muddy. So we'll dry them off a bit.
I mean, there's a gray area there.
It's not really a press rule or a written rule. It's kind of just not being a dick.
well, I don't want to put my own like clean clothes and stuff.
Oh, there's that.
All right. Well, I'll let you guys dry your stuff, relax, recover. And again, congratulations on a great finish, great teamwork. And now we just got to keep grinding to get better next year. So till next time, see you guys in about a week. I look forward to hanging out, getting back out to the range, and just trying to keep getting better every day. So thanks for taking time out with me, guys.
All right, thank you.
Catch you later.
Bye. Ooh, how do I do this?